end are the award is profoundly gripping. A is highly interesting and captures intention. Option B is of high quality to the writer. Option C attracts many indigenous and foreign readers. Option D is widely acknowledged by many authors. The answer to question 8 is option A, and it reads, is highly interesting and captures attention. And that is what the expression that aimed at the award is profoundly gripping means according to the passage. Question 9. The university science lecturer gives his reason for ensuring handouts as A. Lack of teaching aids among students, B. Low purchasing power, C. Low quality of books, and D. Lack of sufficient time. The answer to question 9 is option B, and that is low purchasing power. A suitable title for this passage is A. Nigerian literary writers. Option B. Nigerian publishers and international awards. Option C. Poor reading culture in Nigeria. Option D. Why Nigerian lecturers sell handouts. The answer to this question is option C, which is the most appropriate title for the passage. Poor reading culture in Nigeria. Passage 3 is an adaptation from Sunday Tribune dated July 2007. Question 11. The attitude of the writer of the passage can be best described as: the attitude has to do with the tone or mood, with the tone or the mood of the author or of the writer. Option A, objective, B, critical, C, non-committal, and D, emotional. The answer is option B, which is critical, because it critically examines the subject matter. Question 12. It can be deduced from the passage that A. All experiences are best teachers. B. Learning through pains is better. C. Experience is superior to wisdom. Option D. Wise thoughts are more desirable than experience. The answer to this is option D. The passage indicates that wise thoughts are more desirable than experience, meaning experience is nothing when there is no wise thinking. Question 13. Which of the following statements is true according to the passage? A. Man must make mistakes in order to survive. Option B. The totality of our actions should be decided by our judgments. Option C. If we do not make mistakes, experience must be our teacher. Option D. Our future must be judged by our past mistakes. The answer to question 13 is option B, which states that the totality of our actions should be decided by our judgments, and that is indicated in the passage. Question 14. According to the passage, we must be disciplined to A. Make experience our best teacher in reality. B. Learn from our experiences in future. Option C. Choose the learning opportunity that comes our way. Option D. Decide against making experience our teacher. The answer to question 14 is option D, and it explains what the passage discusses about being disciplined. Question 15. The phrase "a complete and wholehearted devotion" as used in the passage means A. Acting without doubt, B. Learning without tension, C. Learning without pains, and option D. Teaching with ease. This expression as used in the passage implies acting without doubt. So when you act complete and wholehearted, when you refer to an action or an act as a complete and wholehearted devotion, it means that you have acted without doubt, without fear, without thinking otherwise. So the answer to this question is option A. Passage 4. Passage 4 has to do with filling the gaps, and the instruction reads, the passage below has gaps numbered 16 to 25. Immediately following each gap, 4 options are provided. Choose the most appropriate option for each gap. The medical definition of miscarriage is the spontaneous loss of a pregnancy before 24 weeks. Miscarriage is very common, occurring in 10 to 20% of confirmed pregnancies. Most of these features dash A in the penultimate, B in the first, C around, and D 4. The answer to this question is option B, and that is in the first 12 weeks. So it is not referring to the penultimate, it is not referring to around, it is actually indicating a specific period of time. So in the first 12 weeks of pregnancy, the most common dash A type, B cause, C period, and D symptoms. The most common symptom is vaginal bleeding, which can range from light spotting, heavier than a period. You may see blood clots, brown discharge, or other tissues that are not clearly identified. Clearly is a final answer for question 18. Sometimes a sac-like structure is seen. Often there is cramping with pelvic or back pain. You may find that the usual symptoms of pregnancy, such as breast tenderness, feeling sick, and having to pass urine more dash A painfully, B frequently, C gradually, and D commonly. The answer to this is frequently because it refers to the frequency or the rate at which the affected individual passes urine. So the final answer is option B, frequently than usual, stop unexpectedly. Sometimes there are no signs or symptoms of miscarriage and pregnancy symptoms continue, and the miscarriage is only dash A prevented, B managed, C discovered, and D stopped. The answer to question 20 is option C, and that is a discovered. So when we start listening to the sentence, we are going to have, or the miscarriage is only discovered in a routine scan. About half of all early miscarriages happen because of a problem in the way the genetic material from the egg and sperm have combined during the dash A pregnancy, B incubation, C mating, and D fertilization. The answer to question 21 is option D, and the answer is fertilization. It can be difficult to find out why this as dash A occurred, B enlarged, C continued, and D emerged. The answer to question 22 is option A, why this has occurred, but it is more likely to be due to random chance than to any underlying problem with each parent. Imbalances in pregnancy hormones, problems in the immune dash A syndrome, B process, C response, and D system. The answer to question 23 is option D, which is system. So we have, but it is more likely to be due to random chance than to any underlying problem with either parent. Imbalance in pregnancy hormones, problems in the immune system, and some serious infections are also thought to make miscarriages more likely. The risk of miscarriage dash A increases, B starts, C reduces, and D appears. The answer to question 24 is option A, and that is increases. So we can have the risk of miscarriage increases with age because the quality of egg deteriorates. If a woman drinks too much alcohol or smokes heavily, the risk of miscarriage is higher. It is also increased with A, complicated, B, advanced, C, multiple, and D, confirmed pregnancies such as twins. The answer to question 25 is option C, which is a multiple. So we can have it is also increased with multiple pregnancies such as twins. 2011 UTM of English. The paper type is type C. We will start with the first passage. The first passage is an adaptation from Daily Independence, dated 28 April 2008. The first